I'll move through to the first substantial item, which is item 8.1. Now, this is the annual plan local board feedback and advocacy update. This is provide an overview of local board feedback and advocacy on the proposed annual plan 2026-28. Thank you very much. I understand we've got a verbal update from you.
Yeah, kia ora koutou, through the chair. This report summarises the local board's adopted feedback and advocacy on the annual plan. As part of Auckland Council's governance model, local boards have a legislative role to provide input into regional plans. You heard this input directly from local boards at a committee workshop on the 6th of May and had the opportunity to ask questions. The full resolutions are attached to the report, but key themes include 15 local boards express support or qualified support or support in principle for the overall plan. In addition, 2 local boards supported the 7.9% rates increase, and 2 more local boards either partially supported the plan or had mixed views on the plan. 11 local boards also requested a review of the fairer funding model or noted that the model doesn't consider aspects such as population growth and increased cost pressures. The adopted advocacy and other requests raised by local boards generally focus on equitable funding models, improved transport options, environmental sustainability, and investment in sports and recreational facilities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, up on the board, councillors and independent Māori Statutory Board members, Hakura members, we have the motion. Is there somebody that's happy to move that motion? Thank you, Councillor Hill, seconded by Councillor Henderson. So we'll go into questions. Are there questions of the staff about the report? Thank you. Councillor Foley.
Kia ora, thanks Chair and thanks team. We heard from our local boards personally and that was really good. Could you just give us a bit more explanation around, because you said 15 local boards generally are supportive of the proposal. Can you give us a bit more detail in terms of the numbers that also support the proposed rates rise?
Yes, thank you for the question. So we had 15 boards that expressed support, qualified support or supported in principle the overall plan, and then we had 2 more that expressed particular support for the 7.9% general rates rise. So altogether of those 17, there were 9 that explicitly supported the 7.9% rates rise.
Kia ora. And for those that didn't support, did they offer any alternatives, I guess I'm asking?
So there were 2 that did not support the 7.9 and the others were silent on the issue.
Thanks, Chair.
All right, thank you, Councillor. Thank you for the answer. So are there any further questions? Yes? Oh, up here. Okay. Sorry, I've got a speaking order here. I saw Councillor Fletcher, so I'll go to Councillor Fletcher, followed by Councillor Henderson, followed by Councillor Filipaina.
I've had feedback from some of the local boards that they were asked to give feedback quite early in the process and that they didn't feel that they had had sufficient information to be able to draw conclusions on it. Have you had that expressed to you? That's come from 2 local boards that have spoken to me directly.
Through the chair, we haven't received that feedback expressly. The process that we follow is that the local boards receive the feedback from the community consultation and they form their feedback based on that feedback as well as any information that we received to that date. So their business meetings were at the end of April. So it is a little while ago, so any information between then and now is not considered in this feedback.
I'd just like to note that when we come to do this for subsequent plans, that we check in with them as to what support they would like before they give their feedback. So I just could that be recorded, please?
We'll record that and we do support them through the process, so we'll make sure that any gaps are covered, but thank you.
Okay, Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, Chair. It's more of a question to Phil. Looking at the excellent feedback, as always, from the Henderson-Massey Local Board, C4, note public concerns that a savings target of 106 million will result in reduced services to the public. I could ask for your comment on that.
the reality is we haven't done the detailed planning yet around how to achieve that 106 million savings target and or the additional inflation impacts on the budget that need to be solved for. As I've said to councillors, I can't tell you in good conscience that there won't be any impacts observable to the community at this point.
And that's specifically on 106 million as the target.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Filipina.
Ata mare he mana, ata mare e koutou katoa to our committee, and ata mare e koutou katoa to our kaimahi. Just in tēnā korua, just to pātai, now I know that 2 local boards just recently in the last day or so passed resolutions in regards to a targeted rate. How is that going to be fed into the local board feedback? And in particular for our next committee meeting, which is governing body, how would that process happen?
Thank you for the question, and through the chair, we have a report, 8.4 on the agenda on the targeted rates. So the resolutions will be discussed then. The committee will decide on whether to recommend the rate to the governing body, and then that will be decided then. There may be some discussion depending on what happens in the conversation in 8.2.
And just supplementary to the 2 local boards around the targeted rate, the recommendation, I think I forgot about the Māngere Otahu actually had a caveat on that their withdrawal of the targeted rate was dependent on the mayoral proposal going through. Is that correct?
I'll have to bring that up. I can have a look. It'll just take me a minute.
No, look, if that can be for our next committee meeting, and I mean, if others are in particular interested, they can contact you, but that's my understanding. Kia ora.
I can help. So that is covered in the report in 8.4. So quite right, one local board has made it, their position conditional on mayoral proposal and what decisions made there. The other one is based off advice around the mayoral proposal. So I think there are some key impacts in 8.2. So depending on where we get to in 8.2, that may have impacts on how you proceed in 8.4.
Kia ora, thank you, Ross. Tēnā kōrua.
Thank you. Councillor Ferry.
Oh, that came up fast. Thank you. Kia ora. My question was in relation to the information that local boards have around the savings work that council already does, most of which goes through the Value for Money Committee, where I see some resolutions from local boards giving feedback saying, we should do this or do that, but actually these are things we're already doing. So is that something perhaps for next time that we need to get better at communicating, is that people are identifying savings, but actually they're savings we're already making?
Through the chair, we'll look into that for next time to make sure that they have the information that they need.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Thank you.
Kia ora tātou. Tēnā tātou, thank you for the presentation. Tōre Ngātaki, member of Haukura. I just wanted to share Haukura's views in terms of this kaupapa and thank the team for the Māori impact statement that's within there, but also thanking the local councils in terms of what they have provided in terms of feedback. The advocacy they highlighted by local boards are in alignment with both He Whenua Makaurau issues of significance and Te Pai Arataki strategy, which we strongly appreciate. I've got 2 questions, and I know you've provided some feedback, but I think it's important that we table them here so that we can all hear them. One, how will Council ensure annual plan decisions give clear weight to Māori outcomes, particularly in high Māori communities facing growth, deprivation and infrastructure pressures?
Thank you, and thank you for providing your questions in advance. We have spoken with Ngā Matarai to help frame these questions. So the main decision sits with the mayor and the governing body, but local boards' input helps make sure that the Māori priorities are visible. Māori outcomes are built into decision making through tamaki ora and Māori outcome strategy. Our Māori outcome strategy, and the Māori Outcomes Fund, which guide where effort and investments go. Local board feedback adds place-based views, especially in areas with high Māori populations and growth pressures. So decisions reflect what's happening on the ground.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And the second question is, how will council track and report progress on local board advocacy for marae, papakainga, Māori-led restoration, mana whenua priorities and cultural heritage, which I think were key pieces of advocacy within local council submissions?
Thank you again for the question. This is a question that we did get help from answering from Ngā Matarai. There is not a single system that tracks this end-to-end at the moment. We do track it in parts. Local board work programs show what is being delivered locally. Funding decisions such as those through the Māori Outcomes Fund are also tracked and reported on. The Māori Outcomes Annual Report was not produced last financial year as it was a transitional year, but this will be in place again this year and will provide a clearer view of key Māori outcomes work, including relevant local initiatives. This is not drawn up yet, but work is underway which will improve how we track and report this over time, so that there's clearer visibility from local advocacy through to delivery.
Ka pai. Thank you. And I think the key for us is hearing them reporting on Māori outcomes, right, as opposed to just the deliverables for the particular programs, but actually seeing that report. So we look forward to seeing that report come out when it does. Kia ora.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Just in terms of speaking order, we'll have Councillor Lee, followed by the Mayor, followed by Councillor Gillen, followed by Councillor Bartley. So, Councillor Lee.
Yes, I have a question, Mr. Chair, if that's okay. In terms of the local board feedback and the basis of the positions taken by the local boards, in terms of the public consultation feedback, the 12,144 submissions, do we have a breakdown, or were the local boards given a clear breakdown of the feedback as related to their local board areas, and also what was the breakdown of the 12,144 submissions in terms of for or against the annual plan, and in particular the 7.9% rates increase? Do we have that info?
Through the chair, I can answer part of that question. Local boards do receive a breakdown of the consultation feedback per their local board. They receive it in a report that goes to their business meetings in April alongside their decisions to give feedback for this report that we are speaking to. In terms of the breakdown of the consultation feedback, I'll have to hand that over or come back to you.
So just, can we be reminded of what the feedback across the board from the 12,144 submissions was for or against, just to help us today?
Councillor, we're just clarifying that that's not for this team, it's for the folk who manage the consultation process.
Go to the next question.
Right, it looks like they just organised themselves. So I'll go to the next question and come back.
Quite important, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. So if we can just hold Councillor Lee there, and we'll go to Mayor Brown.
Okay, thanks very much. I've seen the summary of the support from the boards, I think you had it down at 15 expressed support, 2 expressed qualified but did support the 7.9, and you had 2 local boards that did not support or oppose the proposal, and one of them was Rodney Local Board, and I've read the Rodney Local Board papers in here, and they don't seem to oppose it at all. In fact, they said overall plan, support the overall plan, in particular, fairer funding, prioritising transport, rates increased to pay for infrastructure, which is what CRL is, and improving public transport and better roading. So how did you get the idea they opposed it? Unless this is not a fair assessment of what they've said.
Through the chair, looking at the Rodney resolutions that they adopted, subsection D, number 1, they do not support the proposed average 7.9% rates increase. And the local board considers this increase inequitable, as Rodney ratepayers already disproportionately impacted in 25-26 by property re-evaluation are being asked to contribute to the city rail link while receiving minimal benefit and continue to face significant local transport and infrastructure deficits.
Oh, well, that's not what it says in the papers associated with this at all. So
there was an update to the attachments yesterday morning. Mistakenly, the prior year's resolutions were attached to the report, so I'm not sure.
Well, I'm just reading what's in here, and it doesn't say that at all. So, rightio, okay. Anyhow, I went and spoke to them last night. They didn't seem to be fussed about it at all. So there you go.
Thank you.
Have we got somebody to address Councillor Lee's question? Mr Burns, thank you.
Kia ora. Just through the chair, I've just brought up the presentation that was presented back to this committee in a workshop in April on the results of consultation. Of individual submitters, 48% supported all or most of the proposed plan, and 44% did not support most or any of the proposed annual plan. Does that address the question, Councillor Lee?
Yes, I think it would be helpful to have a better breakdown, especially at this particular meeting, rather than the results of the consultation, which is a statutory process, not even mentioned actually in the report. It's fairly important, and also to have a breakdown of that as well, and as it relates across the region. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr Burns.
Maybe just, yep, so that breakdown is all available. It was available, it was made as part of, available as part of the workshop on the 22nd of April. It's on Resolve.
Yeah,
we can circulate via email where to find that information. There's a full breakdown that is available to you.
Yes, workshops are not statutory meetings. This is the time to have a report and a proper objective analysis of that feedback, rather than, oh, we can't remember, oh, we'll drag it up, here it is. It should be on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, next I'll have Councillor Gillen followed by Councillor Bartley.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Look, thank you very much for the work you did in this space, and there's been a lot of useful feedback provided by the local boards. But apart from the funding issues, which have been partially addressed in the mayoral proposal, it isn't clear to me what of their feedback has actually been incorporated into the revised annual plan. Are you able to tell me, I mean, they've sent through a lot of feedback on a whole range of issues, but what exactly has changed in the plan as a result of that?
So that will be a question for the next item on the mayoral proposal. This is about the feedback from the local boards. The response to that will be the next item.
Okay, Councillor Bartley.
Oh, thank you, Chair, and apologies for lateness. My question is along the same lines as Councillor Gillen. There was a lot of feedback that came from local boards that wasn't really in your plan. It's more about the tools that they need to be able to do what they need to do to govern locally. It won't be picked up in the mayoral proposal because it's more about it seems like they're saying they've got assets that are local, that have sub-regional, regional patronage, and they're advocating through this process about that. But it's not going to be picked up because it isn't, part of the feedback on the annual plan and the mayoral proposal. So where will it be picked up? And then there's advocacy around Tamaki Estuary Forum, things like that. A lot of local but regional implications.
Through the chair, there was a lot of feedback on the local board funding policy and their mechanisms on how to do things in their local board area. A lot of that will be picked up through the LTP, and staff are currently looking at the local board funding policy for the LTP. Alongside that, with the rest of the advocacy, our staff in finance will be working together to provide advice on where that advocacy goes next in the next few weeks.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question and the answers. Are there any more questions? Okay, being none, thank you, staff. You can step back from the
Thank
table.
you.
And we'll go into any comments or debate. So I open up for comments or debate. Again, if you use the resolve system, are there any? There being none, I think I can put that. So if we've got a mover and seconder, I'll put that on the voices. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? I declare that carried. Thank you. We move on to the next item, which is 8.2, the annual plan and the mayoral proposal. Just remind, the purpose is to